Good afternoon, everybody. It's our daily meeting. It's that time where we take a look at those top stories making headlines in Israel, only here on the Israel Brief, brought to you by Lay of the Land with me, Rolene Marks. So let's take a look at those top stories dominating headlines, and we begin with coronavirus. Now, Israel thought that we had seen the end of the global pandemic, but over the last couple of days, there has been an uptick in the amount of positive cases. Now, this is largely due to nationals who have gone abroad and come back and either haven't quarantined as per the law and have tested positive. And the concern, of course, is the Delta variant, which is highly contagious. And so far, it is regional, it is not national. We have had reported cases here where I am in Modi'in and in the northern town of Binyamina, which is between Tel Aviv and Haifa. Now, addressing the nation last night from Ben Gurion Airport, Prime Minister Bennett said that masks inside the airport will now be mandatory and anyone coming into the country will be required to do a serological test. He also said that Israel will be tightening our quarantine measurements, making sure that people are keeping within a quarantine. He also advised that Israelis now wear their masks indoors. We had lifted the mask mandate just last week and were quite celebratory about that, but apparently that was too soon. The coronavirus cabinet has been reconvened, and the coronavirus czar says we must be prepared for it to be reinstated tomorrow, that masks will be mandatory. Meanwhile, our Interior Minister Ayelet Shaked will meet with officials to decide whether or not vaccinated individuals or foreign nationals coming from abroad will be allowed to enter on July the 1st. Israel was looking forward to reopening our borders to anybody who's been vaccinated, but right now we are concerned with the variant. And Israel has also brought forward orders of more vaccines as we significantly increase the amount of children being vaccinated. Those are children between the ages of 12 to about 16. So we will be bringing you those updates. I know some of you have booked trips to Israel within the next couple of weeks, and just keep yourself tuned to the Israel Brief to see what updates are available. In other news, Israel has joined 40 other mostly Western countries at the United Nations Human Rights Council in backing a Canadian resolution that condemns China for their treatment of Uyghur Muslims. This is very unusual for Israel. Israel has a strategic trading partnership with China and could be attributed maybe to a little bit of pressure from the Americans, but we're very proud that Israel has joined these countries in condemning the way that China has treated this minority group. If you haven't been following the story, over 1 million Uyghur Muslims in China have been rounded up into concentration camps where they are re-educated against Islam. Women have been systematically sterilized, some have been raped, some have had their hair shorn and sent abroad as part of wigs. And that, of course, brings back very, very painful memories for Jews. Israel joins these other countries in showing our concern, not just about the treatment of Uyghur Muslims, who are a minority group, but other minority groups in the country as well. The resolution not only condemns the treatment of minorities, but also calls for immediate independent observers to be allowed into the Xinjiang province to monitor the situation in these concentration camps. And our final story takes us to the head of our Foreign Affairs Committee and our Public Security Minister, who have both put a motion forward to Attorney General Avichai Mandelblit calling for the Jewish supremacist group in Israel known as Lehava to be banned. According to 2016 legislation, groups of this kind, including Jewish groups, need to be designated as terror groups. And this is what their letter or petition, which they sent not only to the Attorney General, but to the Defense Minister Benny Gantz as well. They are also calling on the fundraising arm of the organization to be dismantled as well. So we will be updating you on what happens with that story as well. We have seen an increase in the amount of incitement coming from that group as well. Just a couple of weeks ago, at the height of the tension between Israel and Hamas, we saw massive clashes between extremists on the Jewish side and on the Arab side. On the Arab side, we know it was coming from Hamas and other terror entities trying to create discord within Israel itself, and on our side, the Jewish side, extremists from groups like Lehava as well. Those are your top stories making headlines. Don't forget to check out our website at www.layoftheland.online. We're on Twitter at layoftheland.5. Actually, that's not layoftheland.5, that's layoftheland5. Follow us, interact with us. We're on Facebook at Lottle Site. Like us, follow us, share our content, invite your friends to do so as well. And of course, our YouTube channel at the Israel Brief. Click on that red subscribe button and help us grow our community there. So from me, Rolene Marks, this is the Israel Brief, and we'll meet again tomorrow. Hey, you can even bring your coffee along for another edition and another look at those top stories. So until then, we wish you a safe and healthy rest of your day. Take care.